Hello, I'm Matt Gephardt, and this is my wife.
I'm Jean. We're William's parents, our 5-year-old AMCer, and we live in Baltimore, Maryland.
We found out that, we were pregnant, and I was 27, and we hadn't been together very long. I just knew I was in the right place with the right person to try whatever I was going to try, whatever we were going to try. I thought that we had something that could make it work. So 4 months later, they found that he was frank breech, and so they scheduled the C-section, and everything seemed as normal as I thought a C-section would go for the first time. And they came over and we took a first picture, and then after we took the first picture, they said there's something wrong. And like when he came, when they brought him over, you could see his arms were very straight, and his fingers were very bad. They looked like, the only way I can describe them is like fried calamari, like the tentacles. Because I told you earlier, I thought about how he was in the NICU, and thinking back to those memories, I'll never forget what the one doctor, Dr. Z, said, who eventually did his elbow surgery. It's like experiencing a death for parents of somebody with a disability, because throughout that time you build up this idea. That's what parents do. Like they think ahead. They try to plan ahead. They try to prepare for things. You can't prepare for something like that.
The first year that William was born was without a doubt the most challenging. I had the fortune to meet a doctor who was referred to us by our pediatrician, began demonstrating to me how William might be able to eat independently. He begins to show us that, he may never bring his hand to his mouth, but he may lean himself up against a table and brace his arm and bring his mouth to his arm. And I can remember sitting there, and it's 3 or 4 months after William was born, and tears just started streaming down my face. I wasn't crying, but I just couldn't stop the tears. I began apologizing to him, and he stopped and gave me a box of tissues and said, no, it's okay, you need to cry. You are learning to let go of the life that you thought you were going to have. You had a vision in your mind of what child you were going to have and the life that they were going to have. And you didn't have that child, you had a different child. And so you need to go through a grieving process to let go of what you thought you were going to have, so that you can learn to embrace and love the one that you do have. He was the first doctor who made it feel like all of the emotions that I was going through, it was okay. We also were very lucky to work with a number of therapists who, in that first year, recognizing some of the challenges we were facing, so they suggested that we look for support groups. So I went to Google and looked up AMC, and I found the Arthrogryposis Multiplex Congenitia Support Inc. group, so AMCSI. We were about to have their annual conference, and so we went to that first conference the first year. He was about 11 months old when we went, and walking into that hotel was one of the most overwhelming moments. Even more overwhelming than hearing the doctors say arthrogryposis for the first time. Because go from being in this closed bubble where we knew no one and we were by ourselves and had no idea if we were doing the right things or there was something else we should do or what was going on, and to just be immersed and completely surrounded by it was overwhelming in both the best and honestly some of the scariest ways. It took everything that we had to get through that lobby and get to the registration desk and sign in and just grapple with all of these feelings, because there was no denying it anymore. If there had been any question of the AMC or the arthrogryposis or what we were living and with and what our son was going to have and live with for the rest of his life, there was no doubt. It was right there smack in front of us with all of these people. And we managed to check in. Everybody was so sweet. And then we basically got into an elevator, went to our rooms, and just broke down sobbing. So I got to see all of these worlds of possibilities that could be in our son's future. I look back at that conference as probably one of the most defining moments in our life as a family with AMC. It completely shifted my mindset. I was no longer looking at my son as something was wrong with him and we needed to fix it. That mindset just evaporated away after a few days of that conference, and I began to see that he was already fine. He was going to be independent. He was going to live as a successful and happy and full life as he wanted to, that the AMC was not going to define him.
That you are entirely capable of doing anything you want to do if you put in the time necessary. The only thing to hold you back is yourself.
I don't think I could have said it better myself. So you can do anything that you want to. You just got to go out there and do it. And we will be right behind you as you go.
Absolutely.
And we love you.
Yeah. Very, very